We have more details plus an acceptance of responsibility from the provincial police chief.
Indeed, and that happening after policemen across several districts came out to protest, saying that they were not safe and wanted to know what had happened and who was responsible. But the Inspector General of Police said that he had now ample evidence and that they were closing in on the group that was responsible. This is a splinter faction of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan known as the Jamaatul Ahrar. He also said that the suicide bomber's head was decapitated by that powerful explosion and that his head was recovered, saying that the suicide bomber was able to evade search, that he was also having trinitrotoluene, which is TNT explosive, very powerful. He said the reason the roof collapsed was that this was a 50-year-old structure. It had no pillars to support such a large span of roof, and there were no windows. So the powerful explosion, he said, the shock waves from that knocked off the walls, brought down the roof. He also said that they could have finished that work of clearing the debris within several hours. However, the big concern was to bring people out alive, those who were buried under the rubble and injured badly. He also said that people should stop conspiracy theories, saying that that was meant to sow discord, saying that they were closing in on the ring, and also requested the interim Afghan government to cooperate with Pakistan. On the same note, the Chinese have also offered help in anti-terrorist operations, but the Inspector General admitting that this was a security lapse. The suicide bomber was riding a motorcycle dressed in police garb. He asked where the mosque was because it was prayer time, and the people at the barricades guided him to the mosque, therefore proving that he was not aware about the exact location of that mosque. So indeed, intricate details now coming out, and the Inspector General of Police requesting calm, saying that the investigations are underway and that they're going to get to this particular cell which was responsible for this deadly attack.
Bringing us up to date from Islamabad, Kamal Khaider. Kamal, thank you very much. Israel's conducted airstrikes on the Gaza Strip. The military wing of Hamas says it fired surface-to-air missiles at the Israeli aircraft conducting the strikes. Israel says it launched the strikes after a rocket was fired from Gaza. We're going to talk to Yumna Al-Said in Gaza. Yumna, do we have any more details of what was being targeted in Gaza?
Yes, Rob. So basically, the Israeli airstrikes were carried on the Gaza Strip early hours of Thursday. Two main military camps for Hamas, or Qassam brigades, the military wing of Hamas, were targeted, heavily targeted. One central part of the Gaza Strip, the other one in the north, in addition to an agricultural land. Also, there are material damage made in that central part in the main road due to the extensive targeting of the missiles of that targeted that area. Also, we have the Qassam brigade stating that they confronted the Israeli aircrafts with their anti-aircraft missiles to defend that aggression. The Palestinian Popular Front also stated a statement saying that they carried out or launched a barrage of rockets towards the Israeli towns to response or retaliate this Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip. On the other hand, Hazem Qasim, who's the spokesman, yes, Rob.
Yumna, thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to date from Gaza. Thank you. Two Lebanese MPs are beginning week 2 of a sit-in inside Parliament. They're promising to stay put until a new president's elected after months of political paralysis. We're going to get more on this from Zaina Khodar in Beirut. Zaina, this must be very frustrating for the people in Lebanese. Tell us what's going on, how people are being affected.
Well, there is a deep political crisis in this country, a vacuum at the executive level. There is no president now. This has happened in the past, but this time around, there's also no functioning government. And this time around, the parliament is an electoral body. It cannot legislate. And this time around, the economy has all but collapsed. And this is why the MPs decided to do this protest action. They are hoping that other MPs will join them in order to elect a president. But politics works in a much different way in this country. Since the end of the Civil War, the traditional parties who have been running this country, they choose to hold dialogue outside state institutions to try to reach a deal. Now, what are these MPs telling us? They're telling us there's an urgent need for an executive authority in order to deal with this economic collapse, to pass reforms, to deal with a currency which continues to devaluate every single day. People are losing purchasing power. Public schools cannot open because teachers cannot be paid. So the state is collapsing. Now, we're unable to enter the legislature to meet these MPs in person because the governing alliance are not permitting journalists inside, but we did manage to speak to them over Skype. Two members of parliament from the so-called Forces of Change bloc have been camped inside Lebanon's parliament building for 2 weeks, pressing for the election of a president. Like much of the population, they're in darkness. Long power outages are one of many crises facing the collapsing country. Their demand for open sessions to elect a president has the support from other MPs, but not from the governing alliance, which also refuses to allow journalists into the legislature. These